Have you ever had a dream that you wanted him to do you so much you could do anything?
Happy Halloween, monster hunters. Today we're digging into the creepiest creatures of the season and asking a simple question. Which ones are rooted in real folklore, and which ones were stitched together by movies and marketing? By the end, you'll know what's true, what's twisted, and what's total hype. Let's start with where Halloween actually comes from. Section 1. Origins of Halloween. Halloween traces back to the Celtic festival of Samhain, celebrated around October 31st. It marked the end of harvest and the start of the darker half of the year. People believed the boundary between the living and the dead thinned at this time, so they lit protective fires, wore disguises, and left offerings to keep wandering spirits from causing trouble. Centuries later, Christian calendars layered in All Saints and All Souls days, and the customs blended. That's why Halloween holds both playful costumes and a serious fascination with the dead. With the stage set, let's meet the monsters. Section 2. Vampires myth. Vampires sleep in coffins, hate garlic, cast no reflection, and sparkle in the sun. Origin. The vampire legend grew from Eastern European folk beliefs about restless dead. Before medical science understood decomposition, people dug up bloated corpses with darkened mouths and assumed the dead had been feeding. Garlic shows up as a traditional protective plant in several European regions. Mirrors and missing reflections come later through literature and stage tricks. Coffins. Not a rule of folklore, more a graveyard visual that stuck. Reality check. The vampire as we picture it is mostly a remix of folk fears, plus novels like Dracula, then movies that standardized the cape, the accent, and the rules. Section 3. Werewolves myth. Werewolves transform at every full moon and can only be killed by silver bullets. Origin. European tales of shape-shifting humans are old and messy. Some stories talk about cursed belts or salves, others about trials where people confessed, often under pressure, to becoming wolves. The full moon requirement is a modern simplification, and silver bullets. That's a literary and cinematic flourish that hardened into fact. Reality check. The core is anxiety about people turning into something dangerous at night, not a precise lunar schedule. Section 4. Witches myth. Witches ride broomsticks, talk to black cats, and make pacts with the devil. Origin. Witch beliefs sit at the crossroads of folk magic. Midwives and healers, religious panic, and later fairy tale imagery. The broomstick symbol blends household tools with folk traditions about flight and Sabbaths. Black cats were once seen as unlucky or connected to spirits, which is how they landed in the Halloween icon set. Reality check. The Halloween, which is a collage. The pointy hat, the green skin, the cackle that's stage, illustration and cinema doing what they do best. Section 5. Ghosts and jack-o'-lanterns. Myth. Ghosts come out only on Halloween. Origin. Ghost traditions exist worldwide and year-round. Halloween amplifies them because of the Samhain idea of a thinner veil. As for jack-o'-lanterns, the custom likely began with carving turnips in Ireland to ward off roaming spirits. Pumpkins became the go-to in North America because they're bigger and easy to carve. Reality check. The lanterns are protective symbols, not invitations to hauntings. Section 6. Zombies myth. Zombies are brain-eating corpses born from a random virus. Origin. In Haitian tradition, the word points to a person stripped of will, linked to religious and social contexts. The flesh-eating horde comes from 20th century films that rewired the idea into an apocalypse scenario. Reality check. What we call a zombie at Halloween is mostly a movie invention fused to a real term with different roots. Section 7. Scarecrows and Demons myth. Scarecrows and horned demons were ancient Halloween guardians. Origin. Scarecrows are practical farm tools that look unsettling in autumn fields. Demonic imagery shows up in plenty of cultures. But the ultra-horned Halloween mascot is a modern graphic shortcut for evil thing, useful for posters. Not exactly a single ancient tradition. Reality check. Both feel spooky because harvest season is basically a theater set for dread. Section 8. Regional creatures if you want to go deeper. Explore regional lore that sometimes gets folded into Halloween. Ireland and Scotland. The Púca, a mischief-making shapeshifter. The Dullahan, a headless rider. And the AOSC, otherworldly beings you don't want to offend. United States, the headless horseman became a literary icon via Washington Irving, later adopted by Halloween decor. Mexico, Dia de Muertos is a separate tradition with its own history and meaning. It's about remembrance, not horror, even if the skull imagery overlaps in the season. Section 9. Why we love monsters. So why keep these creatures around? Because monsters help us handle uncertainty. They turn fear into a story we can manage. Every rule we invent, garlic, silver, salt lines, carved pumpkins, gives us the feeling that we can bargain with the dark. Here's the quick scoreboard. Vampires, folklore core, pop culture rules, werewolves, old anxieties, new full moon schedule, witches, real history, theatrical packaging, ghosts, universal, not just October, zombies, cinematic remix of a different concept, scarecrows and demons, seasonal vibes, modern visuals, regionals, rich, specific, and often misunderstood. If you liked this breakdown, share it with a friend who argues about garlic versus sunlight. Drop your favorite creature in the comments, and I'll try to include it in a future episode. Happy Halloween, and keep the lantern lit.
You will never leave this place.